It's a conspiracy. That's what it is.
That's what it's a conspiracy. That's what I get about talking about how I done left the hood. They're like, you ain't pay your bill though. You left the hood, but you ain't pay the bill though.
You're supposed to be thankful you left the hood. You ain't supposed to be talking about what you left behind now.
Gunfire. They broke into my Tahoe. I know your husband probably know what I'm talking about. I don't know if he a truck guy. Man, that was my first truck, man. They broke in that truck so many times, man. It hurt my heart, man.
And it's funny because my husband is actually from Camden, New Jersey. And if you know anything about Camden, I'm from the hood over here in Southeast, and I thought I was thorough, son. I went to Camden. And I was like, what the hell? Was there a war here? What? It was, I mean, as much devastation as I saw in my neighborhood, nothing compares you to Camden. Nothing prepares you for Camden. Nothing. There is.
Wow, was that bad, huh?
I'm still. I mean, because I would go visit him. He would come down and visit me, and I would go visit him. And I remember the first time I drove into. He was actually staying in Patterson at the time, which is not too far from Camden. And I remember driving into Patterson. It was like, do they not have street lights? Why is this so dark? And there were street lights on. It was like the presence of evil, just like hovering over the town, making everything. Oh, Camden was just worse. I mean, the train station, I caught Megabus because I'm half broke, so I'm like, look, I'm fine with Megabus, so I caught the Megabus up there. I get the Megabus into New York City, and you hop on the train at Union Station, and go into Philly. I'm sorry, into New Jersey, and you get on New Jersey Transit, and getting off at the train station in Camden, I was like, there's a war going on here, right?
Wow.
There is just going to be shooting in the streets at some point.
Gosh.
So yeah, he has an experience that is, man, my experience with the hood is almost kind of peripheral. I feel like, because when crack hit the streets in my neighborhood, I was probably in the 10th grade, maybe. And I went to Ballou, and we had a freshman class of like 1,100 students. When we graduated, we had maybe 500, because that's how many kids got caught up in.
Wow.
And it's not because, and it wasn't because. They
didn't all get killed. They didn't all get shot.
They didn't all get killed. But that was, I was able to see with my own eyes the effects of mass incarceration. Because I mean, if it wasn't, the one year I literally went home went to my grandma's house for the summer, came home, and there were all these pregnant girls walking around school. And I'd never seen that. I mean, I never knew that I was sheltered. I never knew that I was a sheltered kid until I go home from school that day, and I tell my mother, I'm like, Ma, there are all these pregnant girls in school. And of course, my mother freaks out. She gives me the, if you ever get pregnant, you're not gonna have to worry about having no babies because I'm gonna kill you. That's but
give it up for Mom and I'm gonna kill you speech. I love that.
But I saw all these kids, all these boys, who none of them ever carried a gun. They were trying to make that quick money, because the money was quick and it was easy. Slinging rock on the corner, a couple of days a week, get locked up for 5 years.
Yep.
And then the kids who didn't get locked up got hooked. And I mean, this is just regular teenage stuff. you go to a party and you're drinking and you try some weed, and I tried weed, and that's why I drank, because weed didn't do anything for me. So, and then drinking.
It worked for me. It worked too well though. It made me paranoid, man. But you know what? Yeah, I'll be the guy that ruined the party. We're like, Tim, I'm like, this something ain't right. They're like, you high, man. Like, nah, man, something's growing out my neck. Man, you are just high. Man, Tim, don't make us have to leave the party. Man, it's girls here. Man. But when I listen,
it was just the regular stuff.
When I listen to you talk, Jacqueline, I start thinking about some things Trump said that the black community has such a problem with. Because Trump was like, black people live in hell. They're living in hell. Really, really, they're living in hell. They're everywhere. They're dying. There's kids. There's drug gangs. There's get shot walking down the street, walking your doggy. And black people got mad. Oh, how dare you say we have bad neighborhoods? Jacqueline just said it, and nobody got offended. What's up?
It's that whole airing our dirty laundry thing, that we don't like to do. We don't like for us to talk about our issues. Like I can talk to certain black people about institutional and structural racism all day long, and it'll be a great conversation. And it's like a tent revival of racism. It's just great. But as soon as I start saying, okay, now look, it's some things that some folks need to stop doing. She done switched the conversation on us now. Oh, it's our fault now. It's my fault I wake up to a 40 every day. I'm 40 and still drinking 40s. Like, what's wrong with that? Right. If you are 40 still drinking 40s, you the problem. You the problem, sir. There's something very wrong with you. There's a very, I don't subscribe to the everything boils down to personal responsibility argument. Everything doesn't boil down to personal responsibility, because look, black people are some of the hardest working people I know. As messed up as the hood can be, and then I admit I don't even live in one of the worst neighborhoods in the country.
Right.
I just told you where my husband. I could not survive in Camden. Let me tell you right now, I could not survive in Camden. I'm too soft. I'm sorry, I am. So, but you
gotta be willing to kill if you're gonna live around here. Yeah, you gotta come on now. What kind of gun you got on now, man? You got a little. I know you ain't coming here at 45. You better get a bazooka around here. This is how we roll. Long gun, son. Long gun. Man.
But there are some things that some of us can absolutely do better. There's some. I get. Look, I understand that.
You mean we gotta raise the kids and make them?
Yeah, look, listen, I'm the last person.
Sell out. This is a no sellout show. He's talking about we gotta raise our kids.
Look, I'm the last person who's gonna tell somebody how many kids they should have. Listen, I feel like you should have as many doggone kids if you want to. Have them. Have the children. Have all your babies.
3 or less.
Just make sure, like you said, you raise your children. I don't have a problem with people, needing help. We all need help. My mother tried to get welfare at one point.
Not forever. Not forever.
Not forever. But see, this is the thing. Nobody can be on welfare forever anymore.
That's true.
That nobody can, So
Bill Clinton fixed that.
He did, didn't he? But what I see in this younger generation of folks is too much dysfunction. Regardless of what I call myself and what me and my friends call each other in private, we are all deserving of respect and human dignity. That's just bottom line. if I call my friends N-word, this, that, and the third, and I don't because I hate that word, but if that is what I do, that does not mean that I don't deserve to be treated with respect and human dignity, because I am a human being, and that's the beginning and the end of that. At the same time, this one of my biggest pet peeves is the dysfunction between Black men and Black women. It bothers me to the point that I think that some of us are probably mentally ill with it. Black women are convinced that we don't need Black men, that Black men ain't shit, that Black men can't do nothing for us, that we run the world, and there's a lot of history rooted in that. Yeah, there is, but we believe it now. We demonize our own people. So where the media doesn't go after Black men, a lot of Black women will. A lot of Black women will put down Black men, and then Black men will turn around and do the same thing to Black women. And then that's just one issue. That's just one issue. Then there's this issue we were talking the other night about the music that our kids listen to. Look, I can't accept that this is just entertainment when all you are rapping about, singing about, or making whatever noise that is that you're making, because that's not rap. You can't. That's not. How is that a reflection of anybody's culture, and how is that beneficial in any way when all you're talking about is the glorification of drug use, the glorification of alcohol abuse, the glorification of misogyny, glorification of senseless violence? We ain't even talking about self-defense. We're just talking about shooting people for the sake of shooting people.
Right.
And this is a problem among us, not because it's some pervasive thing that only we do. It's a problem for us because we're already so vulnerable. Right? It's a problem for us because we're already on that precipice of we're pretty close to being culturally and socially extinct. I know that's extreme. People are like, oh my God, the Black people aren't going to exist anymore. No. No, we're still going to
get our cool dance moves from. Whose dressing style will we take in order to dress cool next time?
Right.
But you know what though, Dr. Joy DeGruy says that what we have is a pathology, not actually a culture. What we are doing is perpetuating years and years of pain, and we're like a sponge of all the mistreatment, and we're just sort of like reverbing that, or vibrating that back out into our children, who continue that on. And white folks see it and they go, I see them sometime on YouTube, the Black people's culture is just, look at it, it's gangs and drugs and shooting. And I'm like, that's not culture. Culture is what we had when we were in Africa.
Right.
You strip a person that don't even know their name or their religion or where they're from, and put them in a foreign land, and then you talk to them 300 years later, 50 years, as you just pointed out with Van Jones' quote, 50 years, finally a free citizen, and you say, what's up with your culture?
I mean, but it kills me though that the same people who talk about Black culture is so messed up don't actually acknowledge actual Black culture.
There you go.
Right? They don't acknowledge that jazz exists because of Black people. If it wasn't for us, we wouldn't have jazz.
Jesse Ventura was on Sway in the morning, and he said every form of music came from Black folks.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Blues
everywhere in America, in American music. Yeah.
Absolutely. Blues came from Black gospel. Jazz came from Black gospel. I'm a closet metalhead. Well, I guess I'm not in the closet anymore. I am a metalhead. Hi, my name is Jacqueline Luqman.
That's not music. Cut that sound down. Cut that noise.
But it's amazing to me how you can talk to any heavy metal guitarist, anyone, any of them, I don't care what band I don't care. They will always list Jimi Hendrix as their major influence. I don't care how old they are. I don't care what band, it doesn't matter. Jimi Hendrix is the vanguard. He is the standard for rock music, for guitarists in this country. I cannot tell you how many Black people I know who can't name one Jimi Hendrix song. And they actually believe that you get 5 points for that.
Purple Haze. Purple Haze is another one, right?
Yes, Purple Haze is another one.
Okay. That's it. I'm done. I'm in. I'm out. That's it. That's all I know.
And then you have the same Black people who believe that heavy metal is white people's music, and they don't realize that if it wasn't for Chuck Berry, if it wasn't for Big Mama Thornton, if it wasn't for Jimi Hendrix, half of these bands wouldn't exist. Wow. They would have been they would have been playing the clarinet because of Benny Goodman, and Benny Goodman even played the clarinet because of somebody else. So there is this historical aspect to our dysfunction. We were taught it. It's conditioned in us, and we have to unlearn it, and that's going to take some time. But it is painful to watch.
You know, I don't want to cut you off, but you just brought up a relevant point, and as a show host, I got to do my job.
No, you got to cut me off because I will talk.
What you're saying, and this is the way I'm hearing what you're saying. You're saying that Black folks have a lot of respect, or white folks have a lot of respect for Black folks, particularly in the arts, and they're not going, they respect that Jimi Hendrix had this great gift and this talent. And does that then, can we say, is there any chance that maybe we exaggerate, or not exaggerate? Do we exaggerate racism, the prevalence of racism? Because I'm thinking about a conversation Lil Wayne had when he said, well, when I go to my shows, there's a lot of white people and everybody treat me good. I never had problems. And I hear you talk about Jimi Hendrix and all the guitar fans. I'm thinking, you know what? Is that possible? Do we exaggerate it, or is it something when we focus on it? Like, I just want to play devil's advocate. What do you say to that? When
I say to that, we have to understand what we are talking about when we're talking about racism. All right. We're not talking about, I am not talking about an individual person disliking me. That's not what, because see, some random white guy can hate my guts.
Probably does.
I'm pretty sure.
Like that guy on Facebook who was giving you drama.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he wishes a great deal of ill upon me, and a pox upon my house right now, and disease for my camels and all that kind of stuff right now. So people having individual feelings of hatred for another person. Unless we're talking about you taking my life, so what? So what? When we're talking about racism, we are talking about an entire system that creates rules, regulations, social mores, laws that infringe upon a specific group of people's right to freedom of movement, access to social
resources,
and public resources, and
i.e. education, medical treatment, housing, things of that nature. Folks.
Right, and to limit income and to unjustly punish that group of people. When we're talking about racism, we're not talking about I hate you individually because you're Black. We're talking about because you are Black, we are going to make sure that you can only buy a house in a certain area of the city, that your kids can only go to this certain school that we're not going to fund adequately so that they're not going to get a quality education. Because you are Black, we are going to make sure that the public transportation in your neighborhood is crappy so that you can't get to the jobs that are out in the suburbs. Because you are Black, we are going to, as a private employer, when I know you're Black, when I look at your resume and I see that you have a Black sounding name, I might call you back, but 9 times out of 10, I won't.
There you go.
If I hire you, if you don't have a Black sounding name, if I hire you, then I'm going to pay you less than what I would have paid you if you were a white person. And if I pay you equally, then when you make a mistake because you're a Black person, I'm going to punish you more harshly than I would have if you were a white. That's the kind of racism we're talking about.
And also, I just want to add this in. Even to add to that, guys, there also exists people who do this subconsciously. Right? Mm-hmm. They use terms like, well, he just wasn't going to be a good fit.
Oh, yeah.
An unknown entity. I've heard these words. I've worked in corporate America, worked in government contractors. They love those. Yeah, the unknown entity. Well, Tim, it's not that you're Black that they don't want you to have the keys to where we keep the equipment. It's that you're an unknown entity. Oh, really? What entities do you know? And this company was run by a billionaire by the name of Steve Case. Guy who founder of AOL. You see him every morning. Yeah. I ran their IT for them, and I'm like, I cannot believe this is. But no, Tim, it's not that. It's not that you're Black. I know there's only like 3 Black people out of 400 here, but that's we love Black people. That's why we don't hire any of them.
So wait, so basically they said that you were a poltergeist.
Basically, yeah, exactly. I really needed the job though, man. I've been temping for so long. See, my name's Timothy, so that get in the door sometimes. Right, Timothy, right. Like they John, Leroy might not get in there, but Timothy get in there sometimes, and they're like, okay, well, I'm Then I start talking, hey man, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? Oh, well, listen to him. He can actually explain to me why you're not scary.
Oh yeah, see, but since I had the same thing, and in DC, the discrimination wasn't so overt. It was done by zip code. So when you submit your resume and you have to put your address on the resume, you have to put your zip code on the address, and if your zip code reflected a predominantly Black area of the city, mine did, and so I did, and then this was when I went from working at Tower Video to trying to get a receptionist job. All I wanted to do was answer some phones. I didn't want to handle anybody's money.
She didn't want the nuclear code. She just wanted to answer phones.
I didn't want the nuclear football. I just wanted to answer somebody's phones so I could stop putting videos on the shelf for $7.50. Well, it wasn't even $7.50. It was like $5 an hour at the time. And so I would not get a lot of callbacks for that. So I would just, harass the heck out of people. I just call and call and call and call and call. And because I am articulate and well-spoken, they didn't know I was Black because I don't have a Black sounding name. Or, they thought, okay, well,
true.
Once you
Luqman.
Right. Well, Luqman is my married name. Malone is my maiden name.
Oh, you get by with Malone. Yeah.
Yes, they thought I was some Irish.
You dropped the Y's. Probably Jacqueline Maloney.
Right. So when I show up for the interview, there were times when I remember seeing that look.
Hi. That fake hi.
You're Jacqueline Malone. Yes, I am Jacqueline Malone. Yes. Oh, well, I didn't. My favorite one was, I didn't. You're not what I expected. Well, what exactly did you expect?
Oh God. Then you gotta lighten the move real quick because you got real. Now you gotta get unreal because if you don't,
right,
scary, intimidating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if people, and I understand that as we've evolved, as this conversation about racism and race and in this country has evolved over time, our understanding of what racism is has changed. Because we used to think of it as just white people hating Black people. That's what we did. That's how we used to think of it. Right. But now that we understand that basic kind of that basic idea of white people, and it's not even really hatred of Black people. That's not even accurate. That is really not accurate. What is really underpinning this is that white people are both intimidated by Black people, and they are very afraid of the retribution that they know they deserve for what they've done to Black
people. Now, when you say white people, what people? See, that's why I watch my language, because I know people, when I say stuff like that, they think I'm talking about them.
Right,
I'm not.
exactly.
I'm talking about the system.
Right, thank you.
And those that control the system think that way, and that's why a lot of white people get upset. Like, what white privilege? Well, you don't know you have it. That's like my son. When my son started college, I got the text on my phone. He said, because he didn't budget his money right. Then he came home and ate. And then when I gave him some money and all that, and he said, Dad, I never knew how good I had it. The refrigerator, because he got a little refrigerator, all he had in there was water. There was no food in it. He said, Dad, I never realized how great it was. And I'm just saying, so I think that a lot of white folks, they, and I'm now talking about white folks, they just don't know the stuff they don't have to deal with because they don't have to deal with it.
Exactly.
And that's what white privilege is not knowing that you're not dealing with this stuff. Like, you don't have a story where you come in and go, oh, wow, oh, Jacqueline. You go, okay, I know I'm not getting this now.
Right.
Because you just had his eyes. I had that eye light up before.
Right.
I know what that means. They weren't expecting. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't go well because they don't expect me to be who I am.
Right. And that is the basis of what white privilege is. I know it's a new sort of term, but Black people have always known what that is. We've always said, you don't understand what it's like to live in our skin. That's basically what it is. Of course you don't know what we go through because you don't live in our skin. And because you don't live in our skin, you have the luxury of not ever having to think about these things.
Yeah. Why would you?
Right.
Why would you? I don't go around thinking about what it's like to be a gay man. I don't know. I'm a straight man. I never think about it until somebody, hey, they can't get married. Then I'm like, gosh, I wonder what that would be if I got sick and my wife couldn't come to the hospital, who I've been living with and love.
Right.
Then I have to put myself in that space to understand it. I go, well, heck, man, let them do what they want to do. I get it now. But I don't walk around living someone else's experience. And that's why sometimes people seem very phony because there's no way you can really understand it. Like, well, I just don't see color. I just don't. And it's like, it's so condescending. Look, man, it's okay not to understand something. What's not okay is being disingenuous.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not a child. I get it. It's okay we're different.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever people tell me, oh, Jacqueline, I don't see color, I really just want to punch them in the eye. See, do you see those colors? You see those?
You don't see all this?
Listen, I don't. People, I understand why people say I don't see color because they believe that our anger at racism is really our disliking who we are because of that's. So they think that they're making us feel better because we're Black.
I don't even see that you're ugly. I don't even see it. I don't see that you're bald, Tim. You have a full head of hair to me.
And I don't think, I mean, all people don't say that. I mean, all people who say that don't mean that, but I think that many people do believe that that by saying that, they are somehow trying to make us feel better for this plague that we have of Blackness that we're cursed with. And, I don't see that disease that you have. I don't see you as diseased. That's what they mean. Right. What Black people have to begin to do is to stop apologizing for our Blackness. I mean, I know plenty of Black people who swear up and down that they have no connection with Africa. None. And that is archaeologically impossible because all humanity is from Africa, first of all. But we especially have a direct connection to Africa because most of us were stolen from there. So, I mean, no human being can say that they're not connected with Africa, because we all are. But most African Americans or Black people, for those Black folks who don't like the term African American, I know a few people who don't, but most Black people in the United States today are direct descendants of African slaves. That's just true. And the shame that is associated with that is not ours. But we've been led to believe that it is our shame. We've been led to believe that we're supposed to be ashamed that we were enslaved. But the shame of slavery lies with the slavers. It does not lie with the enslaved. You know,
Wow.
so you know, I am well, so when people say to me, they say, you know, I don't see color. I'm like, seriously, I want you to see all this chocolate. I really do. I like it.
That's right.
I love it. I
Respect
do.
the chocolate.
And then the other thing, people on the other side of the spectrum, well, you know, when I do talk about racism and try to have the conversation, well, you know, if you don't like it, you know, go back to Africa. Why is that? Why do you think that's an insult to me? I don't understand why you think that's a bad thing. First of all, my ancestors didn't even want to come here. So, I mean, I'm sure they would have loved to have gone back.
Now you tell us.
They tried to. Your ancestors wouldn't let them.
That's hilarious.
It was like, I am never having her on this show again.
Man, I just keep trying to find ways to tie it into something, because people are like, oh, the race show. It's the race show again, Tim? Like, hey, man, look, man, it's such at the forefront of everything. It's like, it doesn't really take that much digging to find a correlation to tie it in. I'm just not doing it at the moment, guys. But, wow. Look, these kind of conversations lead people to open their eyes a little bit. And I think that's a great thing. I think we all need to open our minds a little bit and take another look at what's going on in society, because we be in a bubble and we spending all this time on Hillary and Trump and now Jill Stein, and hopefully you guys are waking up to that. A lot of my viewers have been awake to it, but some other people, you know, not so much. And so it's good to take a little break from that and also kind of get some perspective and context to what we're fighting about. Man, my interview with Ajamu Baraka is one of my favorite interviews, man. And I've interviewed a lot of people, man. And that brother, man, he is so intelligent and so real. If you think all politicians are the same, you haven't talked to Ajamu Baraka. It's like talking to Cornel West. He's from that ilk. And it's just, if Cornel West decided to run for something, he'd be Ajamu Baraka. So, and I wish more people knew that about the man, because the man is I can't say enough great things about him. Look, guys, I'm about to shut it down. I had a power outage early. It's like everything, I'm talking about everything went out. I'm like, okay, all right, this is crazy. And then it came back on, but I had problems with getting the wireless to connect, and then it connected, and we get it. So, all right, guys, you know where to find me, TimBlackTV.com. You know where we're at. Look me up. We've been talking for much long enough times. Jacqueline Luqman. You can find her at the Progressives, Real Progressives, that's plural, on Facebook. Please check her out. Please go visit her. Add her there. And look, man, I don't have my music with me because everything.
Yep.
Oh, there she's back. Okay.
I'm back.
Jacqueline, I'm about to shut it off, man. Give them some words of encouragement, I hope. And then also your ways to reach you and all that good stuff.
Yes. This is, I always joke when I have technical issues, when I do live streams, I always joke and say, this is how I know I'm saying something important, because nothing goes right. But look, the only way we're going to solve the issues that we face, Black people, white people, in this election, because everything we talked about tonight, for me, ties directly into that ridiculous debate that we just had, because the reason we have the two candidates we do is because of an intentional lack of truth and actual information that has been put out there by the powers that be. A lot of people have woken up to that, and a lot of people are realizing that all is not well in America for a lot of people now. And as bleak as that might seem, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. That is the beginning of revolution. When you know, when the scales have fallen off your eyes, when the blinders have been taken off, when you've been exposed to the truth, when the game has been exposed, that's a good thing. So I don't look at all of this information about how deep the inequality is and how long it's gone on as a bad thing. I think these conversations that we're having about these issues, racial issues and foreign policy, and the actual powers and abilities of the president, and what the president really can and cannot do, and all these different things, I think these conversations are exciting. And we needed to have been having them a long time ago. But I don't know, maybe the time just wasn't right. Maybe the stars weren't aligned. Maybe we just weren't ready. I'm not sure. I just think maybe as a nation, we weren't ready. But I think we are now. I think at least more of us are now. And that to me is encouraging. Whatever happens in this election is going to happen. We'll still be here. That's where it'll be okay. I promise it'll be all right.
You're going to be all right.
You going to be all right. Do you hear me? Can you feel me? We're going to be all right. But I look at the exchange of this kind of information as growth. And I look at it as people learning about not just themselves, but about people who are not like them, which is the only way a real revolution can happen. That's always exciting to me. When I can sit down with somebody and say, okay, I understand you feel that way, but this is what really happened. And this is how things happen for this group of people. And this is what happened in history. Did you know about that? And to have people say, wow, I didn't know that. Not even that they have to come to the same conclusion I come to, but just to hear people say, wow, I didn't know that. That right there is the key to the beginning of a real revolution in this country. So we need these conversations. And over at Real Progressives on Facebook with an S at the end, you are on the right page when you see the fist inside the star. Right. We do a lot of content aggregation. We do a lot of sharing news stories that you are not going to hear about on the 6 o'clock news, that you're not going to hear about on mainstream media. And we do, right now we're doing election coverage, but first and foremost, we're activists. We all have different passions on the Real Progressives team. We are getting ready to cover the last day of the Breaking Through Power conference tomorrow, Ralph Nader's conference that he had this week. We're getting ready to do the Occupy Washington. Oh, I had it on my Facebook page, and now I can't remember what it is. Dang it. Hold on. I'll put it on your page. But it is, we are going to have an enormous March on Washington in October, where Take Back Democracy. I knew if I just kept talking, it would come to me. The Take Back Democracy March in October. I'll share the information with you. We absolutely need as many bodies in the streets in October to take back democracy. We ain't playing.
Wow.
We've aligned with the Progressive Independent Party, and we're doing stuff with them. We've got people on the ground in different states through Real Progressives covering local grassroots stuff. We just did an interview with Tim Canova. We did an exclusive interview with Tim Canova last night.
That's
so
what's up.
hyped about that. He launched his Progressives for All organization. I think that's what it's called, right? Progressives.
I think you're right.
Yeah, Progressives. I'm covering stuff here with some Native American activists in Washington, D.C. Jay Winter Nighthorse from WPFW. I'm going to try to interview a couple other people who went to Standing Rock. I'm going to try to get together with some local people who are returning citizens activists who are, I can't not mention this. There is a nationwide prison strike going on right now.
Right.
It's to protest modern day slave prison labor.
Right.
And to commemorate, well, not really to commemorate, but it just happened to be to coincide. It didn't, well, they coincided it with the anniversary of Attica, of the Attica uprising. I'm gonna
45 years, guys.
45 years. I'm gonna try to talk to an incarcerated returning citizens activist, and get some. So we're doing all this stuff through Real Progressives. So it's not just election coverage. We're not just covering Jill Stein. We're not just trying to get her elected. We're trying to get people engaged in their issues locally, where they live. It doesn't have to be politics. Whatever you're passionate about, get involved and spread the word so people can feel encouraged and empowered that they can do it too. And then, like I said, my husband and I have our own little thing. If you just want to stay Black all the time,
I heard that.
We have our own thing over at Coffee Current Events and Politics in Luqman Nation on Facebook. You can type in Luqman Nation and it'll come up, Coffee Current Events and Politics. We're on Twitter. I actually tweeted more during the debates than I tweeted probably in the past 3 weeks. We're on Twitter on Luqman Nation 1. It's LUQMAN Nation, the number 1. And we also have a YouTube channel, Luqman Nation on YouTube. Real Progressives has a YouTube channel also. We also have a webpage, realprogressivesusa.com. I'm not sure if that's live yet, though. We are working on that. But yeah, take back democracy in October. I'm really excited about that. I love a good protest.
Wow. Man, give it up for Jacqueline doing everything. Goodness gracious, man. It's just a serious business. Wow. You guys inspired by that. I hope you were inspired by it. That is action being taken. That's not just, conversation. That's not just, rhetoric. That is actually people putting their hearts out there and putting their bodies and moving their behinds and getting some stuff done. So I think we need to, look into it and if possible, maybe you could join in. And now we can be a part of the change we're talking about. We can be a part of turning this thing around. So I think that ends it on a very positive note.
I think
all
so.
Those activities. You know what I mean? That's real talk, man. I think that's better than me going on and on about how we should all, form Voltron. Even though I think we should all form Voltron and defeat the system, the evil spaghetti monster and the evil orange thing and the evil Queen of Darkness, Hillary Clinton. But she is dark.
She is
darkness. But hey, Jacqueline, I want to thank you so much for taking time out and joining me tonight. I had a ball.
Man, thank you so much for having me on your show. I cannot tell you how much of a huge honor this is for me. And I had so much fun. It's
like talking to an old friend, man. You're so cool. You have so much information, man. So look, guys, I'll be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a guest lined up. I think it's a comedian. So we're going to laugh a little. Jackie, if you get a chance, check that out.
We'll do.
And tomorrow, hopefully earlier than usual, I have a coffee time show coming up where I'll take at least 3 or 4 stories from the news headlines and update you all to the real. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you for being here. I'm Tim Black. Catch me at timblacktv.com. News for people who can't stand the news. And like I always say, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. We out.